out in the field today trying to get some bunnies, make some jerky, and you can see how the sun looks because one of the largest fires California is going right now directly to the east of us. So we're right in the field and we're looking for bunnies, but you can see just how bad it is. Look at the sun. Crazy looking. Yeah, we just got a bunny, and we're gonna pull him out of the field. See, there he is, hiding in this thick brush. Oop. Let's put the gun down. Safety first, people. Open your gun. And there he is, right there. You can see him. You can see if we can reach him. So I aimed a little high because he was really close. There you go. Yeah, see? Did a headshot on him. Alright, after you have your animals parted in the field, and you can see on one of our previous videos how to do your butchering, we've got our three basic parts on your rabbit right here. You've got your front leg, you've got your hind leg, and then you've got your loin. Now all these could be made into jerky. We've always made jerky with it. Jerky's great, dry's good. Rabbit's good to make jerky because it's all lean meat. So with your loin right here, what I like to do is kind of just, remember, good sharp knife. You need a very sharp knife, okay? And you're going to be sharpening your knife repeatedly throughout the jerky making process. So now you've got your thin area, see that? Remember, shot is not good to eat, so you want to remove your shot. So I've got a bowl here. This is for the bones and whatnot, gristle, and then we've got our clean meat bowl over here, and then we've got our parts over here. So you want to cut your meat about 1/4 of an inch. That's about what you want for jerky. So you take and you just do the slicing. This is the loin. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's consistent, thin, same size. That way they dry at the same rate. And that's basically what you do for the loin. Now on the leg, what I like to do is start from the top, run your knife right on top of the bone. And again, removing shot as necessary. And if you've got broken bone fragments, you want to make sure you get those out too, because you don't want anyone breaking their teeth on a broken bone fragment. So, and this is up around the hip bone right here, hip joint. And I cut around the joint all the way down to the bone. And this one is broken bone from shot. So we just got to be careful when we come through here, because you don't want this to go in your jerky. Now, a lot of people will say, well, why are you doing it to rabbit? Rabbit just seems, you know, to be a waste to make into jerky. But you know what? You get a bunch of bunnies, you get tired of cooking them, and you get tired of rabbit stew, you get tired of barbecue rabbit. So this is a good alternative. And plus, you know, you get tired of it, you can always keep it. Another shot. You could always keep it for a long period of time. That way when it's not rabbit season, you got jerky. It's also good if you guys take it backpacking or camping, and there's so many different ways. You don't even have to prepare this here in the house. See, and that's how we do our back leg. You can take this when you guys go camping or hiking or whatever, playing fort in the forest. You've got meat. And remember, rabbit's very, very lean, so it's an excellent candidate for making jerky out of. So You can make jerky with just about anything. Deer, of course, elk. I wouldn't make it out of bear or pig though. I'd stay away from those two just because of the trichinosis factor. You don't want those worms popping up in your skin anytime soon. So around here, I know it's a little time consuming, but you get it done. Now on here, this is the front leg. What I do is I take this top muscle right here. That's a pretty good chunk of meat right there. See? And you want to remove any kind of the ligament that you find, and then if it's a thick piece of meat, you can just slice it open. That way the marinade will get to it and it dries evenly. Now on the top right here, this is like the top shoulder, there's a nice chunk of meat right in here. The bone is kind of like a T-bone type. There's a ridge of bone that comes up right in the middle right here, and that's what you want to work your way around. You know, scavenge a little piece of meat from. So when you guys get tired of making rabbit stew, you can make rabbit jerky. So we got a plate full of rabbit to work on. When we get all this done, we're going to move on to the marinade. Alright, after you guys have all your meat deboned, you can see here we've got our bunny all bagged up, ready to go. You want to use something like this. I like using plastic bags, Ziploc bags. That way you can have the brine marinating in here, and then when you're done you can just toss this. Nothing to wash. Very simple. I also like to use a big glass when I do this. That way I can just pour it in the bags and not have to worry about making a mess in any other container. Now, this recipe that we're doing is good for 2 pounds of meat. So you guys could double it, triple it for 2, 4, 6, however much you guys have to use. Now that goes without saying. So at the base for every kind of brine that we're going to make our jerky for is going to be soy sauce. You guys can use teriyaki, but I like soy. It's got the salt content needed to preserve the meat. So we're going to start off with 2/3 cups of soy sauce. Alright, I also like to use 2/3 cup of Worcestershire sauce. You guys know the name brand over here. And that adds a little bit different pizzazz to our brine. So, and this point you can go with either honey or brown sugar. I like the brown sugar. You could use honey if you want. The brown sugar will keep this thing from getting rock hard if you tend to over dry it. And this is 1 tablespoon of honey or brown sugar. Now we go with the freshly ground pepper. We got 2 teaspoons freshly ground pepper. Next thing is liquid smoke. Since we're not going to be doing this outside over fire, just a little bit of liquid smoke works wonders. So 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke. And if you guys don't like liquid smoke, well, don't add it. Or if you're going to be doing this outside on a grill, or with oak wood or hardwood or mesquite or whatever you have, then you can add it also. You do whatever you want. Like I said, this is very fluid. And we also have 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Again, you don't like red pepper? Don't worry about it. This, of course, grown out here on the farm, homemade, home-ground red pepper, cayenne pepper. Beautiful stuff. And last but not least, we want to use onion powder. I love onion powder. 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And the best thing is you could take this and kind of mix it all up. Make sure everything gets incorporated. Make sure the brown sugar is all dissolved in your mixture. And you could tweak this any way you want. You could add honey, you could add brown sugar, you could add light brown sugar. You could use garlic powder. I like onion powder for this. There we go. And then you take your marinade and divide it up in your bags. Bags are great because they're disposable. Another thing you really want to keep on hand in your kitchen is a scale, so you know exactly what you got. I'm anal about stuff like that, so I've got a scale. And another big challenge is trying to keep all the stuff suspended while you pour, and trying to keep the meat away from the dog as you're, of course, dealing with meat. There you go. Let's see, what can we add some more? Here we go. Alright. Now you take this, you take your bags. Yeah, I know. She smells rabbit up here. I like to squeeze a lot of the air out of the bag and let these sit 6 to 9 hours. Make sure you massage them pretty good. You get that marinade in all the crevices. Remember, we're not heating this up. We're not cooking it, so yeah, I know. That's my fault because I fed her scraps as I was cleaning the bunny. Never feed the dog scraps while you're cleaning the bunnies. Or deer, or elk, or whatever you tend to do. So, the more air you squeeze out of the bags, the more content, or actually the more contact your marinade will get. Look at that. Wow. That is nice. So, after this, it's on to the drying stage. Alright, after 6 to 12 hours marinating, your meat will look like this. Look at that. Beautiful pieces of candy. Ready to be eaten. You could eat it like this, actually, if you want. But, I dry it. So what we have to dry is a standard, you see these, standard, just a little El Cheapo dryer. And after you pat your meat dry, you want to make sure you get all excess moisture off your meat. Arrange it on your trays and dry it for whatever your recommended dryer says to dry. Usually we just dry these until they get, and they bend, but they don't crack or snap. That's a good outline. Good guideline, you know. But then again, you are dealing with raw meat, but it's been cured with a lot of sugar and salt, so I wouldn't worry about it. But you know, you take your life in your own hands when you eat anything that is not cooked. But that's what the food Nazis would tell you. So humans have been doing it for thousands of years. You know, take your chances. But this stuff is a-okay. You could also put it on a smoker. If you guys have a smoker, you get your offset box with your, that's what we like to do too. Take your oak or hickory or mesquite or whatever you have, use that to smoke it on low heat, you know, maybe, I don't know, a couple hours, you know, 6 to 8 hours if you got the time to do it. We're using an electric model just because we don't have the time to sit around and wait for it to dry. So these will go in and you'll see what they look like when they come out. For about 6 to 9 hours is what you end up with. See, perfectly dried pieces of meat. And to check if they're done, you want to make sure that when you bend them, see, there's no moisture in them. So this will stay, I mean, probably 6 months to a year. You store them properly in a jar. This is what we do with ours. And you can put these in the oven at 200 degrees and you'll get the what they call dry canning. So try it out, tell me what you think.